Although these chefs aren't with us anymore, they will be eternally remembered for how impressive they were on Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, today, we're discussing the contestants who have passed on.
Don't worry about that.
Oh, come on!
And the news of this contestant's death was shocking. Remember Aaron's song, The Asian Cowboy from Season 3? He was one of the kindest contestants we, as Hell's Kitchen fans, had the pleasure of watching. But, unfortunately, being nice doesn't always cut it in the high-pressure world of Hell's Kitchen. Aaron struggled to keep up with the demands of the competition, and the stress eventually started to take its toll on him.
To be feeling all of his 48 years.
I'd like to see.
He got emotional almost every time he was under pressure, and it was heartbreaking to see him break down. With every day that passed, Aaron was starting to lose himself.
Off your face before we serve chicken and snot.
Yes, sir.
Things started to become evident in the very first dinner service when he was desperate to do his best, but his health started to slow him down. Things got so rough that he even considered quitting halfway through the competition.
I'll quit. You mean quits as in tonight or quits as in? No, quits is it. As in for good?
Yeah.
But his teammates rallied around him and encouraged him to keep going.
Yes, you are.
You leaving us high and dry?
I'm not leaving you high and dry.
Exactly, he's staying. I like that. I like that. You staying.
While most team members are hell-bent on sabotaging each other, this is one of those few times when the entire team was actually there to support and uplift another team member.
This hug is really making me uncomfortable now.
But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. In a shocking turn of events, Aaron collapsed in the third episode.
Are you ready? Let's go! Come on! Feel better, sweetie pie.
He was immediately rushed to the hospital. Thankfully, Aaron was able to recover. However, Chef Ramsay quite hesitantly had to deliver the devastating news.
I want to get you out of the heat and raise your confidence. You will not be disappointed in me. You'll be fine. Yeah? Good man.
Despite his tragic exit from Hell's Kitchen, Aaron went on to become a celebrated chef, but sadly, his fame was short-lived. Just 3 years after his appearance on the show, he passed away in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, due to complications from diabetes. But man, I was really shaken up when I heard about Tom's passing on the 1st of July last year. In short, Tom was an absolute legend on Season 2 of Hell's Kitchen. I mean, who could forget his iconic signature dish challenge? He was 6th in line to present his dish to Chef Ramsay, and you could tell he was nervous. I mean, come on. The guy admitted he was sweating bullets going into the thing. Or, well, joked about it, but that was Tom's style. He could find humor in any situation.
I sweat all the time. I'm a schwätzer. Don't worry about that.
Tom's confidence and good humor made him a joy to watch. Anyway, when it was time for the big reveal, he presented a cooked Caesar salad, which, is about as weird as it sounds. I mean, you've got to admire his creativity, even if Chef Ramsay was less than impressed.
In my entire life, I've been served a cooked Caesar salad.
I understand that, Chef.
You know, Tom really won me over with his attitude after Chef Ramsay slammed his dish. While others might have gotten defensive or argumentative, Tom took it like a pro. He simply acknowledged that he could handle the criticism and didn't make a fuss over it.
It's no big deal. And you know what? If he didn't care, he wouldn't break my chops.
His actions showed a lot of maturity and a willingness to learn. That's exactly what Chef Ramsay wants to see in his chefs. Someone who can take constructive criticism and use it to improve. And my man Tom proved that he had a thick skin and was there to learn. But, you know, I wasn't a fan of how he was treated in episode 3. I mean, Tom took the initiative in the relay challenge, volunteering to be the first on his team and taking charge of getting the info on the dishes they needed to make. But when he brought up pre-made tortellini, Chef Ramsay called him out on it. But Tom wasn't flustered. He owned up to it and made sure to pass on the necessary info to Giacomo so they could keep moving forward. Well, I thought he showed some great leadership skills there, and well, it was kinda unfair to criticize him so harshly. You know, Tom was feeling pretty good about his team's performance in the challenge, but then Chef Ramsay started critiquing him a little more personally than he rightfully should have.
Do I slouch and slub and talk like this, like some big fat...
Yeah, that comment about Tom's weight was totally uncalled for. I mean, we can totally do without the fat shaming, right? I didn't find it funny at all. If anything, it was hurtful and unnecessary. What made it worse is that although Tom tried to speak up, Chef Ramsay shut him down with another derogatory comment. But Tom stood his ground this time. He refused to back down and defended himself.
Who do you think you're talking to? He doesn't want to get in a street fight with me, trust me.
Good for him. We need to remember that these contestants are real people with feelings, not just actors. And let's not forget the heavy editing that goes into creating a certain narrative on the show. Contestants are often prompted to give specific reactions in their confessionals, so what we see on screen isn't always the full story. Hell's Kitchen isn't a cult, and Chef Ramsay isn't infallible. He's crossed the line before, and it's time we acknowledge it. I mean, contestants deserve respect. They don't deserve to be punching bags for Chef Ramsay. On that topic, I stumbled upon an article from Grub Street that called out Chef Ramsay for his off-putting behavior. And let me tell you, that's probably the nicest thing they said about him. It's like, come on, can't we just judge the food without throwing in some unnecessary personal jabs? I think Chef Ramsay has mellowed out a bit with age and becoming a dad, but there's no denying he's been tough on people in the past.
Yes, chef.
Gone are the days where his criticism targeted their appearance, height, and weight, rather than just focusing on their cooking skills. And thank God for that. Either way, coming back to Tom. His obituary is a beautiful tribute to his life. It talks about how he spent years working on Wall Street before eventually following his passion for cooking. Apparently, he even attended the French Culinary Institute in New York between 2004 to 2006 and went on to work in various restaurants. Well, I can only hope he lived a fulfilling life. Rest in peace, Tom. You are missed. Next up is the man with the golden heart, Louis Petrozza. Petrozza left a lasting impression on the show when he made his debut in Season 4. He demonstrated exceptional leadership skills, was an outstanding team player, and had a genuine passion for cooking. His maturity and ability to motivate his teammates were evident throughout the season. Although he didn't have a stellar start with a signature dish that failed to impress, he quickly redeemed himself in the dinner service.
That lamb is beautifully cooked.
Thank you, chef.
Don't piss your pants.
It's been 20 years since I've cooked a line. It was very nice of Chef Ramsay compliment on that. That was nice.
However, Petrozza wasn't immune to mistakes, and Chef Ramsay even called him out on several occasions.
It is a fucking Ballerona chocolate fondant. Cut the fucking thing then!
Right in half?
Oh, come on! Fucking hell!
Despite these setbacks, he consistently bounced back.
And the pave of salmon.
Now, get in the fucking kitchen. You're on the meat
Work my
section.
fucking ball.
What really set Petrozza apart was his ability to own up to his mistakes and learn from them.
I can't pick any of these guys. They work too hard and we came in.
He was humble enough to acknowledge his weaknesses and even went so far as to call himself the weakest link among his peers.
Petrozza was a mess.
Crap on top of crap on top of crap on top.
Petrozza captured everyone's hearts with his genuine attitude, honest behavior, and exceptional cooking skills. But, well, everyone has their flaws, and Petrozza's was to be messy and disorganized at the best of times.
What was the request? What was the request? What did I ask for?
You asked for medium.
You know it's undercooked. You still serve top and bottom it, yes?
But it was his kind and humble nature that made him a standout competitor.
Tough. I tried to get the job done. I wasn't a star in that spot today.
Your level.
Despite his flaws, Petrozza's talent and dedication earned him a spot in the finals. Although he didn't take home the top prize, he won the hearts of everyone who was on that season and plenty of people at home too.
You're the most gracious man on that team.
Chef.
Okay, the one person.
After his time on the show, Petrozza continued to excel in the culinary world, becoming an executive chef and inspiring many with his passion and expertise. Tragically, this talented chef left us too soon, passing away on November 15th, 2019 due to complications from lung cancer. However, his legacy lives on, and he will always be remembered as one of the most lovable and talented contestants to ever grace the Hell's Kitchen kitchen. Moving on to Jessica Vogle, a contestant on Season 12 who showed great promise with her passion for cooking. And that passion resulted in some incredible results, which eventually earned her praise from Chef Ramsay himself. Jessica started strong despite a few minor mistakes in the early dinner services.
Garnishes. The beef is cooked, now we still have garnish.
Although it looked like she had lost her footing, she soldiered on.
Never to mish. I got plenty of men.
While Chef Ramsay takes a moment to reflect.
However, things took a turn for the worse starting from the 8th dinner service, when her mistakes became more noticeable and she was nominated for elimination for the first time.
No, I did it. I did earlier. I thought it was coming. She just yelled it was coming.
You're not really a chef, are you? You're just a showgirl with a big feather coming out your eye.
Although she managed to survive the chopping block, her performance continued to falter and she found herself struggling to keep up with the demands of the competition. In a tense moment during deliberations, Jessica tried to defend herself and plead her case to stay in the game.
John Dory!
That's one, so you need one more.
I want them together!
She was at a crossroads. She knew she needed to step up her game, but her nerves got the better of her, leading to careless mistakes. The Cook for Your Life challenge was her chance to prove herself, but unfortunately, her dishes fell flat. And then, the unthinkable happened.
Yes, Chef. I'm sorry, Chef.
It was a mistake that would haunt her, and her other errors compounded on top of that to seal her fate.
Hell's Kitchen.
Tonight was a fucking embarrassment.
Despite her inconsistent performance, Chef Ramsay acknowledged her potential.
Highs and lows across your 3 dishes. But to get those 3 dishes out there,
But it wasn't enough to save her from elimination.
Jessica, your time is done, my darling. The lobster was way undercooked. Okay. And the
After her time on Hell's Kitchen, Vogle went on to achieve great things. She became an executive chef at Black Rebel Burger, shared her recipes on her blog, and even competed in the Cutthroat competition. Her passion for cooking and determination to succeed were evident, even in the face of adversity. Sadly, Jessica's life was cut short when she passed away on July 30th, 2018, due to complications from colitis, a chronic inflammatory bowel disease. Her memory lives on, and her story serves as a reminder to never give up on our passions, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. But this next story about Sandra Flores's is one that will leave you heartbroken and inspired at the same time. Sandra was a force to be reckoned with on season 12, making it all the way to episode 12.
Hell's Kitchen.
I know I screwed up service tonight, but I thrive on challenges.
After filming wrapped up, she returned home feeling off, despite being in top physical condition from running 6 miles a day. She persisted in seeking medical help, and her insistence ultimately led to a devastating diagnosis: Stage 3 breast cancer. She quickly underwent a double mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation. She lost her hair, her strength, and her pride, but not her will to live. Despite everything, she remained determined to pursue her dreams of having her own show and restaurants. Her resilience and courage, a testament to her strength. Sadly, she passed away on January 22nd, 2022, but her story will continue to inspire the world. Rest in peace, Sandra. Your legacy lives on. Moving on to Keith Green, a contestant on season 2 of Hell's Kitchen, who showed tremendous promise with his impressive cooking skills and consistent improvement throughout the competition. However, his attitude was a major turnoff.
If there's money involved, I'm gonna make sure that I do everything in my power for you to win.
He came across as unsympathetic, rude, and downright annoying. Just watch him strut around like he owns the place.
How long for that oyster special? 2 minutes, chef.
There were moments when his talent shone through, like when he led the blue team to a successful service with his excellent communication and leadership skills. But unfortunately, his rotten attitude often overshadowed his accomplishments. Even Chef Ramsay had to warn him about his behavior.
Brat syndrome, that huffy puffy, turn their eyes, hold their arms, and not even look at me in the eyes.
Well, yeah, he had his moments of glory, like in the 6th dinner service, where he excelled and received praise from Chef Ramsay himself.
Risottos are lovely.
Keith. Yes, chef. Good man. Let's go.
He also shone in the first Black Jacket dinner service, earning more accolades from the chef. However, his true colors returned in the last dinner service, where his overconfidence, rudeness, and sour attitude resurfaced. When Keith was finally eliminated for his poor performance and lack of leadership, he didn't take it graciously.
I think that you have a hard-on for Virginia.
Instead, he argued with Chef Ramsay, who promptly shut him down.
Why'd you have to be so fucking rude?
Could you to me all the time. So?
After his time on Hell's Kitchen, Keith went on to work with Heather West and eventually became an executive chef. Tragically, his life was cut short on August 15th, 2012, when he was found dead after a morning swim, leaving behind a wife and child. Despite his controversial behavior on the show, Keith's passion for cooking and his achievements in the culinary world are worth remembering. So, did you hear about Rachel Brown from season 2? It's just devastating to think about. She was only 41 years old when she passed away. The news of her death is heartbreaking, and it raises some really tough questions about the reality TV industry and the pressure that comes with it. I mean, Chef Ramsay is known for being tough on his contestants, but could that toughness have contributed to her tragic end? Chef Ramsay hasn't commented on these tragic events, but it's clear that there are deeper issues at play here. Though I don't want to go into too much more detail out of respect. This case is a little less clear-cut than the others, so I'll leave the speculation to everybody else this time around. Moving on, you do remember Jonathan Plumbley from season 9, right? The dude was pretty funny, I'll give him that. But let's be real, Hell's Kitchen isn't a comedy club. And Jonathan got off to a super rocky start with Chef Ramsay in no small part because of it. The dude was pretty funny, I'll give him that. But let's be real, Hell's Kitchen isn't a comedy club. And Jonathan got off to a super rocky start with Chef Ramsay in no small part because of it.
It only gets worse. The pineapple looks like... Canned? Yes.
He ended up using canned pineapple, which is basically a sin in Chef Ramsay's book. I mean, come on, you know the guy's a total perfectionist. And then he tried to blame it on something else.
Limited time. 45 minutes? Limited time.
Alright, now that's an excuse that could never fly, not in Chef Ramsay's kitchen. But the worst part, his dish was a total mess.
But the surprising fact was you opened it out of a can. That's what pissed me off more than anything.
It was so messy that Chef Ramsay didn't even bother tasting it. Yikes, what a way to start off the competition. And during the whole time on the show, he didn't make any improvements at all. If you ask me, I think Jonathan was cruising along for a while, avoiding nominations until episode 6. But then, Chef Ramsay finally had enough of his subpar cooking and called him out.
I'm seriously disappointed.
Now, this is when Jonathan promised to step up his game.
Gonna be wrong. I'd rather talk to my team and get it right the first time,
But instead of getting better, he kept bombing and bombing and bombing. He went from bad to worse, and his mistakes started to snowball.
I swear to God, it's like food from a kindergarten. I've tasted better spaghetti.
And then, the final nail in his coffin was the 8th service.
I had a young man in here 2 years ago that broke his arm. Went on to win the competition. Yes, sir. If you've given up, get out.
Not only did he mess up the dishes, but he also failed to communicate with his team, causing chaos in the kitchen. It was like he just gave up.
Come here, I want to work with you. The pain's starting to get to...
That's when Chef Ramsay decided to pull the plug.
A big boy. Real honor, Chef Ramsay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Jonathan's time on Hell's Kitchen ended in a blaze of glory. And by glory, I mean a total mess. He got the boot for his careless mistakes, subpar cooking, and for trying to sweep it all under the rug on top of that. But hey, he didn't let that define him. After the show, he went on to become a culinary consultant. Yeah, looks like he finally managed to pull it off. However, things took a dark turn when he got arrested in 2018 for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. And tragically, on February 9th, 2022, Jonathan's life came to an end. The cause of his death remains a mystery, and it's a shame because he had so much potential. And finally, we have Paulie Jantti from season 16, who made it all the way up to the top 4. At first, he was one of those guys who was all over the place when it came to his cooking. I mean, the dude would crush it during challenges, but then totally fall apart during services. It was like he had 2 different personalities in the kitchen. But I gotta give him credit, his signature dish in the first challenge was on point. He got a perfect score of 5. And I was like, wow, this guy's got skills. His impressive signature dish was just a tease, unfortunately. He needed to bring that same heat during the dinner service, but he just couldn't make it happen. And it wasn't an isolated incident, considering he ended up getting nominated for elimination multiple times. But somehow, he managed to squeak by and survive every single one of them. I was like, how is this guy still here? But I guess that's just the unpredictability of Hell's Kitchen at work. However, he had a major flaw. He just couldn't own up to his mistakes. He'd always try to shift the blame or make excuses, which really got under Chef Ramsay's skin. In fact, Chef Ramsay even called him out on it during one of the deliberations, warning him to shape up. Despite all the close calls, Jantti managed to make it to the Black Jacket Challenge, which was a huge accomplishment. But his worst performance came during the second Black Jacket dinner service, and that's what ultimately sent him packing. You can't escape the chopping block forever, and his refusal to learn from his mistakes finally caught up with him. There were many moments where Chef Ramsay praised him for bouncing back, but unfortunately, it was not enough to keep him in competition. Tragically, Paulie Jantti's life came to a shocking end on April 20th, 2017, when he was just 36 years old. According to reports, he was found dead in his Philadelphia home, and the cause was apparently accidental drug intoxication. It's a heartbreaking reminder of the struggles many in the restaurant industry face. Experts say that people from tough backgrounds like Paulie may achieve success, but often struggle with inner demons. Addiction isn't just about the environment, but about what's going on inside. And the restaurant industry can enable these issues with easy access to substances, grueling hours, and a culture of abuse. Paulie's story is a devastating reminder that the restaurant industry hasn't really changed for the better. Paulie grew up in poverty and worked in restaurants just to make ends meet. And the crazy thing is, he never even dreamed of becoming a chef. He was just a natural talent. He taught himself how to cook and ended up making it to the top 4 on Hell's Kitchen, competing against talented chefs like Heidi, Heather, and Ryan. His determination and self-taught skills are a true inspiration. At the time of his passing, he was running his own restaurant, Bira, in Philadelphia, and Paulie's journey is a testament to the power of hard work and determination. So, which of these contestants live on in your hearts, even after all these years? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. And before you check out, make sure to check my next video out right here. It's even crazier.